You know what scares me more than a ghost?
Hmm.
When my mask goes into my freaking eyeballs and sops up all moisture. But anyway,
It's not
this
good.
is the season of masks,
Yep.
and we always wear masks.
Mine
So,
stinks like armpit right now.
yeah, your armpit mask situation, I can't explain. I can't explain mine. It's because I used it to wipe my armpits.
All right.
So, this little guy's a stinker too. But the point is, we are in the season, as we've mentioned in our previous videos, and the season is Halloween. That means, since we've already knocked out our favorite horror movies, we're going to talk about our favorite horror collectible. What's yours, Butto? That's your new name, Butto.
I
Butto, by the way.
like butts.
Yeah, it's just a huge butt.
I was going through my collection, and I noticed I don't really have that many horror collectibles. Weirdly,
I've noticed.
so mine's a little bit of a cop out.
Ah, the old Mad Ball.
Specifically, the Jason one. I really like it. Now I'm not a Jason fan,
Mm-hmm.
but I really like this Mad Ball.
You're not a Jason hater either.
No.
You're just a passerby in the Jason universe.
I know he exists. So yeah, but I really like the look of this one. It's got grubs in the back and slime. I'm a big Mad Balls fan, so I picked this one. But in case that was not acceptable, I also brought this little boy.
It is quite acceptable, but always worthy to mention the Cthulhu. Now I got my own little Cthulhu here,
Yeah.
peering over our endeavors. But yeah, these are pretty cool. Let me get Juan of the Dead out of the way because he's really distracting.
Juan is one of mine, but he's definitely not up there.
I gotta admit that I considered the Leatherface Mad Ball because it is cool. These little horror Mad Balls are pretty cool looking.
Yeah.
So I considered that one. I'm glad I didn't because this would have been a really shitty video, and it's already bottom of the barrel.
It's not good.
But but this is pretty cool. I gotta admit. Now I'm wondering about the lifespan of Mad Balls. It worries me sometimes.
Yeah.
They are, after all, just foam.
I really hope, yeah.
But so far it looks good. This is one that if it cracks and ages, it'll still look good
Makes
because
sense, yeah.
it's a fucking rotting corpse. But yeah, Jason.
I think it's the most solid one. That one and Leatherface are the most solid ones of that series.
Yeah, it looks good, and of course Cthulhu.
He's got loincloths for some reason.
Why does he have a loincloth? I guess they didn't want to show his
Cthulhuid wiener.
Kaludong.
That's
Cthulhu.
that's my dad right there. Also, I'm feeling blue in case you couldn't tell in the past couple of videos.
I've noticed. Hope everything goes better for you. Now, my favorite horror collectible is a comic series. Various comic series, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And there are some old school EC comics. Now, this one's not directly a horror comic. It's more of a suspense, as you can tell by the title, Shock Suspense Story. But
it's pretty shocking.
I will mention this because this is a controversial cover on account of what it looks like's going on there.
Yeah.
But but EC Comics back in the 50s, they published a lot of horror comics. So many and so gruesome and so strange, in fact, that they kind of invited the wrath of America. And it's because of comics like this, particular imprint, that we got the comics code for so many years that completely censored comics and made them wieners for a long time, until recently when people were like, why do we still follow comics code? Fuck that shit.
It's not good.
But yeah, man, this is one example of a non-horror EC comic, but still pretty horrifying looking. But yeah, man, over the years I've collected many reprints, basically. I had some originals, but, looking to get rid of those. But yeah, I love them. The Haunt of Fear is probably my favorite of the three
the old
flagship.
It's pretty great.
But of course, the one that most people know is Tales from the Crypt, because of the HBO series mostly. But every time I would see one of these reprints, I would have to pick it up because they're just so endlessly rereadable. They're twisted morality tales. So ultimately, the irony of people censoring this was that they ultimately had a moral.
Yeah.
And the moral was usually good.
Don't be a dick.
Don't be a fucking dick, you assholes.
Don't be killing fools, otherwise ghouls will come.
Yeah. I mean, what a better way to teach kids, hey, ghouls are going to eat your freaking stool if you don't
if you're not cool.
Now, this is the oldest one I have, and it's a reprint, but...
Your stool?
Yeah, ghoul stool. It rhymes. But I've had this one. This is one of the first ones I bought. And you could tell because it's all torn up. I read this so many fucking times, and it's just worn the hell out. But I had it forever, man. And there was another one that I literally wore to a nub, and I finally found a reprint of it. If I can find it here real quick, and it was this one, which I had was legitimately the first one I bought, but I wore it out completely, so I finally found another copy of it. But all these are great, man. Vault of Horror, The Tales from the Crypt, The Haunt of Fear, and even the science fiction ones like Weird Science and Science Fantasy. You know, they were just fantastic tales that just sucked you in. No matter how simple they were, no matter how gruesome they were, there was just something inherently entertaining about them as a child and to this day. And, you know, anytime I see any of these, just even if they're just EC comics, they don't even have to be horror comics. I just have to pick them up because they're awesome. They're awesome. And I know you grew up with them too.
Yeah, it's worth a note that they're great, and I totally lost where I was going.
Yeah. Here's an example of one that's not a horror comic.
Yeah.
But it's EC, so I had to get it. Yeah, so that's my favorite horror collectible.
Those are probably my favorite covers of any comic. I just
EC?
like the layout of them. They're cool.
It's a timeless layout, and it's obviously been copied a lot. You know, you've probably seen this format before in some form or fashion. Definitely a lot of horror comics anthologies have copied the layout. Yeah. And even as recently as the Archie horror comics paid homage to them with several of their covers, their variant covers. It's a timeless comic. It's influenced so many people.
Yeah, it's worth
so
many people that this is what I was gonna say. That it's kind of they've tried many times to revive it, and it's never that good.
Yeah, the thing is, the creative team behind these, be it the artists or the writers, it was something distinctly of its time, you know, and they were so influenced themselves by writers of their past that you can't recapture that.
Yeah,
you just can't. You know, you can touch upon it, like if they got a Stephen King to do a remake version of the comics, or a Clive Barker, people have been influenced by these, then maybe you'd be touching upon something, but they just can't recapture the magic of the originals. They really are that great. Why am I still holding Aces High?
I don't know.
You know what I'm talking about? I'm talking about those horror comics. But anyway, that's my favorite horror collectible. Tell us what yours is, because those were ours. Hit like, share, subscribe, and those notification buttons, because we're out.